Concerns about kids and COVID are rising again tonight. Since the start of December, there's been a four-fold increase in COVID hospital admissions among kids in New York City.
We want to take a closer look at this trend, and we're joined now by Dr. Kristen Moffitt, an infectious disease specialist at Boston Children's Hospital. Dr. Moffitt, thanks as always for being here.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
So we want to begin with what you're seeing here in Massachusetts when it comes to pediatric infections. Any amount of rising cases will create angst, of course, for parents. So what do we know about Omicron and its impact on kids?
Yeah, so in general so far, we are seeing increasing pediatric cases here in Massachusetts, but in general, it is pretty proportionate to what we're seeing for sharp increases across all age groups. In general as well, most of these infections remain mild, but because we just have such a larger number of people being infected, we are seeing some uptick in the number of pediatric COVID-19 hospitalizations as well. Again, it's proportionate though to the increased number of cases. It's not clearly a signal that Omicron is causing more severe infection in children compared to other variants. I would say as well, what we see in terms of its impact on kids is that what seems to be happening is that if COVID-19 is being brought into households by anyone in that household who's become infected, it's really able to march through that household very easily from person to person if the person who was first infected is not able to effectively isolate from others in the household, which is really hard to do. So it's transmissibility is clearly more than what we've seen with any other variant, but that is not clearly associated with more severe infection in children.
Okay, and obviously they're still young kids who can't even get their first dose of the vaccine. What should parents who have kids under the age of 5 be thinking about and doing right now?
Yeah, the things that parents can do to protect those children who are too young to be vaccinated, again, it starts with having as many people in their household vaccinated and boosted if they're eligible for boosters. We know that vaccinated people are getting infected with Omicron, but we also know that the risk of becoming infected is still decreased if you have been vaccinated, and even beyond that if you've had a booster. So in general, still trying to have as many people around young children vaccinated and boosted as possible. And beyond that, really being thoughtful about what people in the household are doing when they're outside of the household. So that's going to mean masking up when they're headed indoors. It may mean avoiding gatherings indoors with groups of people that they otherwise were planning on. It also could include more testing. And if anybody in the household is experiencing symptoms that might be consistent with COVID-19, doing a family's best to isolate that person, especially from younger unvaccinated individuals in the household, as effectively as possible is one other thing that can be done to keep those children safe.
Okay, well, we've become practiced in that for sure. Dr. Kristen Moffitt from Boston Children's, thanks as always for being here with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Good to see you.